Hey, welcome back to another Story Time with Bubba. I'm Brian, Bubba Beaulieu, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about HRP and our work hard, play hard culture and our history. So let's settle in for another episode. As I mentioned in the first video, which is available on YouTube, our founders, HRP, instilled a work hard, play hard ethic right from the beginning, and we have done our best to continue it ever since. Historically, following our Thanksgiving feast, we would have our annual Turkey Day football game. When I started back in 1986, it was 7 or 8 of us took a walk down the street to Walnut Hill Park for a game of touch football, and it had rained and it was really sloppy, and basically we all came back to the office completely covered in mud. Every year as the company grew, and especially after we moved to Plainville, the football game got pretty big. We had years where we could field 2 full teams and have reserves on the sidelines. While it was touch football, it really kind of started getting pretty competitive. We used to actually have our surveyor, Frank, go out to the field in the morning, and he would measure out the entire field and spray paint goal lines and put cones and stakes up. The whole company basically would come out and either be on the sidelines or in the bleachers. We'd have coolers out there. We had a lot of fond memories of those games. So Mark was a captain every year, and he usually would pick against John or Walter, our vice president back then. The last couple of years we were in Plainville, Mark would show up. He'd show up to every game, and he would get on the field, like he would say, "Okay, it's time," and he would take his jacket off, and he would go out on the field, and he would play one play, just so that he could say he played in every HRP Turkey Day football game and continue his Iron Man status. But once the game had ended, we would all head back to the office or to the pub to help with the aches and pains. I'm not alone in saying that Thursday or Friday we could barely move. Again, it was touch football, but it did get a little spirited. There were a couple of times where folks had to make trips to the emergency room and, for a splint or stitches. I remember one time in particular that I had to drink my Thanksgiving dinner through a straw due to a clash of heads. I had 6 stitches in a big swollen lip and really couldn't even put a fork in there. So, yeah, that was fun. Once we moved to Farmington in 2005, with a lot of us old timers getting a little bit slower and, not as eager to hurt ourselves, the football game started to become more sparsely attended, and inevitably we shifted to a more kinder, gentler competition, beer pong. While Connecticut has brought the competition indoors, our New York office actually continues the tradition of the Turkey Day football game to this day. Here in Connecticut, we are just about a week away from our annual Pong tournament, where we will crown the champs for this year and hand over these sweet championship trophies. But you're going to have to keep an eye out on our social media and our TikTok to be able to see the results of that. And as always, thank you so much for joining us again. Like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and we're going to see you next time. Happy Thanksgiving.